What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Dynamite, as well as the latest wrestling news, including Ric Flair vows he'll never return to WWE, Jeff Hardy wants Roman Reigns, and AEW star apologizes for dropping the N-bomb, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now, as always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, the MJF CM Punk roast. As superb as Dynamite's wrestling was, the verbal showdown between MJF and CM Punk was the show's best segment, as both Punk and MJF absolutely annihilated each other on the mic. Whether it was Punk calling MJF a less famous Miz, declaring Max has been replaced by Dr. Britt Baker as one of AEW's 4 pillars, or telling the salt of the earth that the only way he'd become number 1 in AEW would be to marry Tony Khan's daughter, Punk roasted MJF. However, MJF was just as brutal with his barbs, calling him PG Punk with hustle, loyalty and respect, and trashing Punk's ill-fated run in UFC. Now sure, the UFC insult was low-hanging fruit, but the delivery was pure gold, and this exchange served as a reminder of how useful verbal showdowns can be when they're unscripted. This nuclear-level showdown went nearly 20 minutes, but it seemed to fly by because it was so engaging. Not only did the showdown highlight each wrestler's razor-sharp promo skills, but it showed AEW's slow build to the feud. A lazy booker would have rushed things by having the two brawl following their verbal volleys, or have MJF attack Punk during or after his match with QT Marshall. Instead, they've given this feud time to grow and to keep the fans wanting more. Instant gratification is rarely a good thing in wrestling. Number 2, Cody teases a heel turn. Is Cody Rhodes turning heel? Well, despite Cody's endless protests that he'll never turn heel, last night's show hinted at Cody becoming a villain, with the American Nightmare making a blind tag to Pac, then super kicking him. Was it an accident? Well, however, after the show, there was a moment that suggested where things are going. According to Ringside News, Cody then teased exiting via the heel tunnel at the top of the entrance ramp once he was off the air. That is a big deal in AEW, as heels and babyfaces have different entrances. Equally interesting was the amount when Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard entered the ring, with fans eager to see whether the two former tag partners would throw down. Instead, the two founding members of the Four Horsemen took out Andrade's assistant Jose, giving the fans a tease of the two possibly reuniting somewhere down the road. Number 3, Darby defies gravity. Darby Allin defied gravity again on last night's Dynamite. The unorthodox wrestler may be 175 pounds soaking wet, but he makes up for his thin frame with flights of fancy that keep fans on the edge of their seats. Last night's segment, where Austin Gunn charged Sting on the entrance ramp, only for Darby to fly out of nowhere, laying out Gunn with a shoulder tackle. Shivani called it perfectly, saying like Darby Allin was a shot out of a cannon. This short segment made the idea of a match versus Sting and Allin against the Gunn Club seem quite exciting. Quite the feat given Austin and Colton Gunn's mid-card status. Number 4, Jim Ross, wrestling's real Iron Man. Jim Ross epitomizes his saying tougher than a $2 steak. Ross's resiliency and personal courage shine through, as he's not only put on his usual A+ announcing, but did it after having back surgery. That's one tough son of a gun. Number 5, the Colt vs. Bryan banger. Cabana vs. Danielson was an absolute banger of a match, the technical masterpiece fans love to see, but one which was more than just an entertaining match, but one that furthered the feud between Danielson and AEW World Champion Adam Page. Bryan has been crushing it as a heel, even though he claims he's the same man he was when he arrived in AEW. Both Danielson and Page have been paying attention to detail with this feud, with Bryan attacking Page's friend and Page looking for revenge, only for Danielson to rebuff him, saying that he's already wrestled. This isn't just cowboy shit, this is some good shit. Number 6, Dante joins Team Taz. The story of a heel faction offering a babyface a chance to join their team isn't anything new, but Team Taz's successful recruitment of Dante Martin was certainly a surprise. Dante is a promising performer whose push alongside with brother Darius was jeopardized after Darius' injury. This new storyline is a good way to continue his push, energize Team Taz, and possibly lead to a series between Dante and Lio Rush. AEW could have gone with a super swerve like Lio Rush joining Team Taz, or kept things basic by having Dante rebuff Taz, but instead AEW surprised fans doing so without overbooking the storyline. Number 7, a titanic TBS tournament match. AEW's women's division continues to improve every week, with last night's TBS tournament match between Jamie Hayter and Thunder Rosa showing there's hope for AEW's uneven women's division. Thunder Rosa is an AEW ace, but Jamie Hayter is finally being given a chance to show that she's more than Dr. Britt Baker's muscle. In fact, judging from last night's spot where Baker inadvertently cost Hayter the match, fans might be seeing the two former colleagues battling in the near future. Now, rare is the evening when a wrestling program doesn't feature at least one bad segment. However, AEW pulled it off, delivering good matches throughout the show along with good to great promo segments. As always, AEW wasn't afraid to give its mid-card acts TV time and then also have them interact with bigger stars, obviously with the goal of them getting the rub. This was seen with Gun Club's brief skirmish with Darby Allin and Sting, as well as Daniel Garcia and 2.0 running afoul of Chris Jericho. Casual fans may not care about some of these acts right now, but with the right push and a bit of luck, that could change. Of course, with no bad, there's definitely no downright ugly. AEW fans can give thanks that last night's Dynamite had nothing bad or ugly in it. It wasn't a perfect episode, but it kinda came close to it, reminding viewers what makes AEW different and enjoyable for its fans. Can they carry it on next week? Well, we hope so. What did you guys think of Dynamite last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at Ric Flair vowing that he's never going back to the WWE. Topping today's news is Nature Boy Ric Flair's proclamation that he's never going to go back to the WWE. The two-time Hall of Famer and wrestling icon recently discussed his relationship with WWE and why he's done with the company. "You're not going to bring me back. No, they don't want me back by any means. I could never work for Nick Khan in my entire life. Vince McMahon I can work for, but Nick Khan, who is a guy who orchestrated taking me off the show, I've got my facts together. He orchestrated taking my woo off. Never in a million years. The big difference is Tony Khan respects me. He has, as did Vince. Nick Khan has not. I talk to Vince now, I have no problem with Vince. He just knows I won't come back." According to Ric Flair, the company attempted to obtain his intellectual property at the lowest point of his life, a move which convinced him that he had no reason to stay. "Well, after they asked me to assign my intellectual property to them while I was on life support, nothing that company does surprises me." Next up, Jeff Hardy wants Roman Reigns. Jeff Hardy is continuing his past dialogue about a dream match with current Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Ringside News is reporting that Hardy discussed this during his taping for his upcoming appearance on Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull Sessions, as Hardy discussed the bloodline, telling Austin, "I've talked about this a lot lately. Roman Reigns, the bloodline, they've aggravated me, and he's always talking about being the head of the table. I want to break the head of the table." Now, this isn't the first time wrestling's charismatic Enigma has talked about wanting to wrestle Roman, but now that Jeff is back on SmackDown, it's a possibility. Jeff recently had a great performance in the Raw vs SmackDown men's elimination match at Survivor Series, showing he can still keep up with WWE's elite. Next up, an AEW star apologizes for using the N-word. A current AEW star Austin Gunn is tweeting an apology for insensitive tweets he made back in 2013. Gunn tweeted, "With all my heart, I'm sorry," as well as an apology, an excerpt which follows. "Extremely insensitive tweets, replies I made when I was 17 years old in 2013 have been brought to my attention. I don't have the words to describe how I'm feeling right now. There's no excuse for it and I'm deeply sorry. AEW regularly provides excellent sensitivity programs that I've attended multiple times. I want to continue to learn from my mistakes, improve my view on the world and strive to be a person my parents will be proud of. I was not raised this way. I do not condone this behavior or the use of these words, and I'm extremely sorry. Thank you for reading this." What do you think of Austin Gunn's apology? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, a WWE Star Done? Last but not least, Johnny Gargano has been in NXT since 2015, but could the first NXT Triple Crown champion finally be leaving? A recent report from Fightful Select revealed Gargano's WWE contract was set to end on 3rd December, but that he signed a 1-week extension. Dave Meltzer recently reported, "Gargano, his contract is up December 3rd. He signed a 1-week extension to December 10th so he could do the War Games show and finish up the storyline. It's not 100% that he's leaving by any means. He's considering his options, but obviously he's not signed a contract. They did not offer him a 7-day contract. They want him to sign a multi-year contract and he's not done that, and the fact that he has not tells you that he is certainly exploring all options. Should Gargano stay in the WWE? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content."